This is the pair of Altec speakers that I picked up at that estate sale recently. Originally, when I first saw these and when I picked them up, I thought they were corner cabinets because they have that kind of odd shape. But as I looked at them more, I made a little discovery. I noticed that with the mounting holes over here, 4 holes on each corner of this surface. And as I looked in here with a flashlight, I found big metal mounting brackets behind that. So I believe these speakers are theater speakers or auditorium speakers, because I think this is the surface that's meant to be mounted either to the wall or to the ceiling, and then this faces the audience. And they're not for movie theater, because those would be all painted flat black, because you wouldn't see them. These have nice wood cabinets, so I think they were meant to be within sight of the audience. But definitely, that's the mounting surface there, which means the speaker is either pointing into the room or down from the ceiling down towards where people would be sitting. So I think that's what these are. And also, when I was looking at corner cabinets, there was all the ones that I saw only had one big vent hole, not 2 vent holes. So I think what these are for is you undo the faceplate here, and then that's how you access the mounting screws. So you stick your hand in there and tighten up the bolts to fasten those to the ceiling or the wall, whatever the case may be. Now I know by looking in through the screen that these do have the Altec 604 style duplex speakers, 15-inch speakers. So I'll go ahead and pull off one of these, or maybe in both of them. Pull off the covers. And this seems to be the only way in is from this side. And we'll see if I can get a look at those speakers and see what they are. Maybe get some date codes off of them. Well, I pulled off what I thought was going to be just the speaker grill, along with it being the whole baffle to the speaker cabinet with the speaker mounted on it. So I discovered that these are Altec 605A speakers, and the green ones with kind of the matching crossover up there. So these have kind of an odd date code, which I haven't quite figured out yet, but it says 602-141. So that's not Altec's code normally, unless they had somebody else building these for them. But following convention, this would be the 41st week of 1961. So I believe these were introduced, the 605A, in 1959, and they didn't build them for a lot of years because people wanted the 604, not the 605. So even though it's pretty much the same speaker, so it's a cast frame, big huge Alnico magnet, and compression driver behind it. So I'm used this. Glad I took this apart because these are pretty dirty here. They got, I don't know what that is, pet hair or something like that in here, and I'll need to vacuum out. But unusual cabinet design. This kind of ramps up and this ramps down, and it hits a little divider, wooden cone right there, that ducts the sound up, I guess, into this. And then eventually this is open to the back, so it could come out this vent here in the front. So that's what it has, 2 vents, and both of them are functional. They both have kind of wooden enclosures here that redirect that back wave sound. So, interesting design. Very cool. So, early 60s. I'll go ahead and pull this driver off and see if it's got any dirt underneath it, but it looks fairly clean on the outside. It definitely will vacuum out the cabinets and dust them off. Now, as far as mounting this thing, I'm still kind of not sure how they did it, because there's the big mounting brackets, one there and one there. So if you had to pull the whole speaker off and baffle to get to these from the front, I don't think that would make sense. So maybe they mounted some kind of a stud in that bracket, and then that went through this wall right here, and then came out the side over here, where they would, I guess it would stick out this way, and then that would mount to some type of a frame or wall structure in the theater. So, not sure. Don't have any really information on these, although it does say A20 right there in that little label. So that may be a designation for the cabinet. Well, I got one of these drivers pulled out, and definitely some dust on the bottom side of it, as you can see here. So these were definitely mounted for the majority of their life in the way, the orientation that I've got them setting right now, which is how they were installed over at the guy's house where I bought them. So go ahead and see if I can clean off this dust and make it look a little bit better. Alright, you got the this driver all cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Ready to go back in. And I weighed it with my little postal scale here, and it weighed in at 24 pounds even. And the whole cabinets weigh 140 pounds a piece with the drivers in them. So pretty heavy things. This one's ready to get mounted back in. Okay, this one it's a little different than the other one. On that side, the mounting for the speaker wires was on top, facing the crossover. On this one, they're facing down. Here you can tell this is the bottom. This has got all the dirt on it still. So this one's just mounted differently than the other one. Don't think it really matters. But the date code is different too. You can see here. It says 510069. So what, the 9th week of 66 maybe? And 510 is a different, I think that's the standard manufacturing number. There's the cone number. This is the same speaker. It's a 605A, but it's got this red tag on here. Like maybe that was a replacement speaker. Let me clean that off and see what it says. So this speaker has the different manufacturer's code and date code and this red label on it, and it was mounted upside down from what the other one was. Some of the mounting screws on the baffle were stripped out and one was missing. And also, if you look inside the cabinet, what I've noticed is that the big mounting brackets are missing. And the wire actually from the crossover goes out one of the mounting bracket holes instead of a small hole up on top like the other side. So I'm thinking this one was refurbished. You know, maybe that's a repaired speaker installed in this cabinet, and you know, that one was unmodified. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in so that the speaker connections are up here on top like they were on the other one. And I'm going to reroute that wire out the top like that one is, because that seems to be the original design. And there's a little hole, unused hole right now that would work. So I think I'll do that. Well, the speakers are put back together. They're sounding good. So I guess I'll end this video. Again, these are 1960s vintage. I would say, I don't know what to call them. The A20 cabinet for theater or auditorium type of environment. It's got the 605A Altec speaker in it, and 2 different date codes and everything. So again, that one I think is the original one, and this one I think was the one that was rebuilt. So I did put the wire out the top on this one like it was on the original, and I turned that speaker right side up. So sounding good. I'm gonna put them in on some pedestals or something, I think, and mount them up close to where those other speakers are. That'll do it. Some nice sounding Altecs.